His name was Ronald Turney, age 42, height 5 foot 11 inches. His record, 2 convictions for fraud, and only recently released from the state pen of Texas.
I don't think this is such a good idea, us meeting out in the open like this. We only been out of jail 2 weeks.
Just because 2 guys was in the pen together, they got a right to meet again on the outside, ain't they? That don't mean we're up to anything.
Look, Miguel, the last time we met like this, I wound up selling phony oil stocks for you. What are you up to now?
This time is different. Take a look.
What is it? Gold?
Best kind there is, 24 carats. On the outside. On the inside, it's just plain lead.
The provisions of the Gold Reserve Act make illicit traffic in gold a serious crime. However, since the price of gold is fixed by law, criminals offering the precious metal at under the legal price are, under certain circumstances, able to find buyers. These buyers not only leave themselves open to prosecution, but they are often swindled in the bargain. And now, in my role as chief of the United States Secret Service, I'd like to tell you about 2 men who tried to specialize in this particular type of swindle. 2 men who didn't have to be taught that all that glitters is not gold. This is Treasury File 2316, United States Secret Service. The case of the swindler's gold.
We can get as much of this stuff as we need. All I have to do is contact a certain party in Mexico and then sneak it across the border.
I suppose all I have to do is find a bunch of suckers who will buy it.
Guys that are in the business. Jewelers, goldsmiths, wholesalers.
Well, sounds like it might be tough. They're going to want to see some samples.
The samples they test will be solid gold. Only what we deliver ain't. What we deliver is 85% lead.
I don't know, Miguel. I don't know if I want to get mixed up in any more propositions.
Are you kidding? You're the best con man in the business.
Sure, I know what I am. It's not much of a reputation for a guy who's got a 10-year-old kid.
What's the kid got to do with it?
She's starting to ask a lot of questions about her old man. Questions that the school that's keeping her can't answer. Besides, I'd like to spend a little time with her. I haven't seen her in nearly 3 years. Not since I went to jail.
Well, she's better off without you.
Yeah, the way I am, maybe. That's why I stay away from her. Maybe I could be different. Maybe I could get a decent job and go straight.
Sure. A guy like you that's been stealing since he was 5 years old, all of a sudden, you're going to turn upside down and become a saint. Look, Turney, just because you got a kid, you don't have to give up a good deal. In 3 or 4 weeks, we could clean up a nice little bundle.
I'll have to think it over, Miguel. I'll let you know.
When? Suppose I come over to your place tomorrow, we talk it over, huh?
Okay. You know the address. The apartment number's 3B.
3B. Right.
Miguel?
Who?
Rita! What are you doing here? How did you get here from school, sweetheart? Who brought you?
Nobody brought me, Daddy. I just took the bus. A big place like San Antone isn't hard to find.
Well, you had no right to come here, you little monkey. If it wasn't so long since I'd seen you, I'd send you right back. You've gotten so big, sweetheart. You're quite a young lady.
Girl grows in 3 years, Daddy. That's why I came here. I didn't want it to be another 3 years before I saw you again.
Maybe it won't have to be. You know, Daddy's been away on business.
Where, Daddy? Where did you go those 3 years? Couldn't you take me? All the other girls have families they go home to. Why can't I come home to you?
Now, you look here, young lady. Your daddy knows what's best for you. And when I say that... You wait right here.
Hi, Attorney.
Oh, Miguel, I wasn't expecting you quite so soon. My daughter's here. Miguel, maybe you could come back tomorrow.
What happens tomorrow? You made up your mind yet?
No, not exactly.
Look, Attorney, if you're gonna let this kid hold up the works...
Come back tomorrow, Miguel. I'll call you the first thing in the morning.
Don't you forget.
No, I won't.
Who is that, Daddy?
Oh, it's just a business friend of mine.
He's not going to take you on another one of those trips, is he?
I should say he isn't.
You sure?
Now, look, don't you worry your pretty little head about him. Today, we forget about everybody except you and me. We're going to have ourselves a wonderful time.
Sure, I know all about it. First, you hold me up for 2 whole days, and then you come here telling me you're sorry, you ain't made up your mind.
I didn't mean to hold you up, Miguel. Just that I was having such a wonderful time with a kid.
Yeah, and while you was on the merry-go-round playing daddy longlegs with that brat kid, I was looking all over town for you.
Take it easy, will you, Miguel? I don't get many chances like this. Besides, I'm sending her back to school tomorrow.
And in the meantime, you want to borrow $100 from me, huh?
I'll pay you back. I just want to buy her a little coat and a pair of shoes, maybe.
No soap. You want to make a deal with me? I'll stick you for a while. You want to play Santa Claus? You're on your own. Only get some sense into that skull of yours. You want to do something for your kid? Then get yourself a bankroll. You can't do it on nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Look, I got a list here of the jewelers and the guys in San Antonio, Houston, Galveston, and a few other places who handle gold. If we only sell 5 or 6 of them, we can probably net $5 grand.
Then what?
Then you can take that kid of yours and leave town, get a clean start someplace. I think you're nuts to want to go straight. But if that's what you want, I'll help you. Only first, you got to help me.
Okay, Miguel. It's a deal. Let me have some of the samples and I'll start making the rounds tomorrow.
For the next few days, Ronald Turney made the rounds of jewelry stores, wholesale jewelers, and places of business frequented by men who had occasion to buy gold for their manufacturing enterprises. Using the same approach in almost every case, Turney represented himself as an archaeologist on a mission of charity. Claiming to have become friendly with a group of Yaqui Indians on his last exploration into Mexico, Turney made up a story about an Indian family financially impoverished, but in possession of a hoard of gold worth several $1,000s.
But it's against the law to buy imported gold in this country, except from a licensed dealer.
But this isn't commercial gold, Mr. Seward. It's more like jewelry, or you might say rare treasure. And as long as they're willing to sell it so cheap, you'd really be helping them. And at the same time, doing yourself a favor.
How cheap is it, Mr. Brown?
Almost half price,
Oh.
$20 an ounce. I have some samples here, Mr. Seward, if you'd care to test it.
Well, it certainly looks like a good buy. But I'm afraid my company couldn't do anything that might be considered outside the law.
But I assure you, sir, that no one would ever know of it.
No, I'm afraid I can't do it, Mr. Brown. I'm sorry.
It's all right, sir. I understand perfectly. Good day, Mr. Seward.
Good day, sir. Miss Wilton, will you look up a number for me, please? I'd like to talk to the United States Secret Service.
All we've had is this one report from Houston, Chief?
Yes, only the one that's come through so far. But the district office is checking on local dealers, so we may have some more information on this Mr. Brown at any moment.
Well, that'd certainly help. There's not much to go on from this description of him. Specialties moving around.
Well, the chances are he probably is. Of course, this Mr. Brown could be a legitimate archaeologist, misguidedly attempting to help these Yaqui Indians, as he claims. But even if the story is true, it's still a violation of the law.
That sounds like an out-and-out swindle to me, Chief. The old buried gold racket with a new twist.
Except for one very interesting difference. This Mr. Brown was willing to have a sample tested, which means he must actually be in possession of some real gold.
Well, we'll simply have to find this Mr. Brown and see what he's up to. If he's spreading himself around, I should be able to find him.
All right, Cook, you know what the problem is. From here in, it's all yours. Agent Cook began his investigation by going to Houston, Texas, and questioning the dealer who had reported contact with Mr. Brown. A truly identifying description of the man could not be obtained. However, his method of operation was clearly defined. By checking with other dealers in the Houston and San Antonio areas, Cook learned that the same manner of approach and the same story about Yaqui Indians was used by a man who represented himself as a missionary named Silas Jones. Although it was believed that still other dealers had been approached, there was a distinct possibility that some of them had become interested in this unlawful proposition and for fear of prosecution deliberately denied any knowledge of the affair. However, one jeweler's wife in the San Antonio area admitted that her husband had been offered a bargain price on gold by a man who called himself Harry Daly, a man she had subsequently seen in a popular midtown restaurant with a child, a little girl.
No, honey, I've got to take you back to school and get up to Houston.
But it's my birthday. You promised me last week you'd take the whole day off. You promised you'd take me wherever I wanted to go.
But this has been practically the whole day. Besides, it'll be late when you get back to school. You know, if we keep this up, they won't let you stay there.
I don't want to stay there. I'm sick of that old school. Sick of going back there. Sick of being away from you all the time. I've got the nicest daddy in the world, and I can't ever see him.
But we'll see a lot of each other one of these days. One of these days, I promise you, I'm going to take you out of that school and you're going to live with me at home for good.
And you won't go on any more of those nasty old business trips? You won't travel anymore?
No, darling, not after a couple more weeks. You wait and see, Rita. You and your daddy are going to be together all the time.
Already. 2 weeks we've been on this deal, and what do we got to show for it? One lousy order for $1,100.
What do you expect me to do, hit him in the head? I can't afford to take chances, Miguel. Not on a federal rap. I got too much at stake.
That's what's the trouble with you. You're playing it safe on account of that kid of yours. That's why you can't make a sale.
Anything else you got to complain about?
I'm laying out a lot of dough on this deal. Paying for these trips of yours, taking you to meals, buying you some decent clothes. I want to know what you're doing besides going to see that kid of yours. I want to get some results.
Well, you're not going to get them like this, Miguel.
Don't tell me how to get results. I'm an old hand at this game. When I see a guy laying down at the job, I go... Go ahead, answer it. Maybe it's a prospect.
Hello?
Daddy? I'm all upset, Daddy. I've been crying.
Well, what is it, darling? What's wrong?
I'm lonesome, Daddy. All kind of lonesome inside. And it hurts in here like I was hungry.
You don't get lonesome anymore.
Come on. Get rid of her.
But you'll have to wait.
Get rid of her, I said.
She was crying, Miguel.
I don't care what she was doing. You forget about her, you hear? You forget about it until you get this job done, because if you don't, it's just going to be too bad.
Yes. Oh, calling from San Antonio? Yes, put him on, please. Hello, Cook. How's it going?
Fairly well, sir. I think I finally got a line on our Mr. Brown. Yes, sir. His real name's Turney. He's quite a record. 2 convictions for fraud and several arrests.
I see. And that jeweler in Houston is pretty sure of his identification, eh? Uh-huh. Yes, keep him under surveillance. Find out who he's working with and from what source he's obtaining the gold. But don't move in until you can actually catch him making a sale. Is there any chance if you're going undercover to arrange it?
Yes, sir. I think there's a very good opportunity of that. You see, the wife of one of the jewelers here in San Antonio has been very cooperative. I believe I can set myself up in one of their stores, and if Turney pulls any shady deals, I'll be witness to it. Yes, sir. And you say, Mrs. Clayton, that he came back again this morning and offered you another chance to buy that yucky gold.
Yes, Mr. Cook. And then I followed your instructions, and I told him that I couldn't talk to him just then, so he's coming back later this afternoon to show me a sample.
Good. Mrs. Clayton, I'd like to test those samples in your presence. Find out exactly what kind of a deal he's offering you.
But you're not going to arrest him right then and there, are you? Because if there's going to be any rough stuff...
Oh, no, nothing like that, Mrs. Clayton. As a matter of fact, if those samples are good and he's giving you an attractive offer, I'd like you to take it.
Oh?
For the time being, Mrs. Clayton. Just for the time being.
You can see for yourself it's solid gold. It assays at 99.95. I've had it tested myself several times.
It's fine gold, all right. Tests out perfectly. Color's just right. You say you're selling this at $21 an ounce.
That's right. And Mrs. Clayton, if you wanted to increase your order a little...
Oh, I think 80 ounces will be enough.
Mr. Daly, when can you make delivery?
Oh, I'd say in about 10 days. I'll call you the day before I'm ready so you can have the money. And I must have cash, of course.
Of course.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Clayton, and you'll hear from me in about 10 days.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Ounces. Now you're really working, Turney, just like old times. 80 ounces for the Claytons, 64 for the guy up in Beaumont, and 72 for the place on Bell Street. Not bad, Turney, not bad at all.
When will the stuff be ready?
Oh, in a week, maybe 10 days. I leave for Maco City tonight. I have to go back here by Friday, and then we can put it together, and you can deliver it on Wednesday. Then that kid of yours, and you are on your own.
Yes, sir. Yes, we've had Turney's place under surveillance for over a week now.
Mm-hmm. Has he tried to leave town?
No. He hasn't left San Antonio. He did have a visit from a man by the name of Miguel Cuenca last Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, that's right, last Friday. No, when this Cuenca came into the apartment, he was carrying what seemed to be a very heavy bag. When he left empty-handed.
I see. All right, Cook, keep watching this Cuenca man. And if the delivery date is set for tomorrow afternoon, just make sure that neither one of them gets away.
But you shouldn't have done it, Rita. You had no right to run away from school. I was planning on picking you up tomorrow anyway.
I couldn't wait till tomorrow.
Why not?
They were saying things to me. The girls in school. They were saying I lied to them about my father. Daddy, you aren't really a businessman, are you? You don't really go on these trips you say you've been taking. You don't even travel around.
Who says I don't?
They do, the girls. They showed me a picture of you in the newspaper. A picture of you being sent to jail. And they said they wouldn't play with me again. Wouldn't play with me ever again. Why did they send you to jail, Daddy? What did my daddy do that was so wrong they won't play with me again?
I broke the law, Rita. I've been in jail 2 times, Rita.
It's all right, Daddy.
No, it isn't all right. Nothing I've ever done has been all right. Put it off. I say I'll straighten up tomorrow, the next time, but I don't do it.
Is it too late to do it now?
No, darling, it's not too late. But you and I have got to get out of here. We've got to leave everything just as it is. Walk out clean right now while there's still time. What? You stay right there.
That kid here again? What's the matter with you, Turney? You gonna clean out of your mind? With all that stuff in here, you bring the stupid kid around?
I'm taking her away, Miguel. I'm not making the deliveries.
You what?
Don't want any part of this deal. I'm through with all this stuff.
Through, huh? With me on the hook for $1,500 worth of gold? You think I'm gonna let that go sliding down the drain? You think I'm gonna let 4 weeks of work and all the money I spent on you go flying out the window too? You're gonna do as I say, Turney.
No, I'm not, Miguel. I won't do it.
No, huh? Right. You want something to happen to her? Something she won't get over for a long time? Like a busted nose, or maybe a nice long scar on her face?
Don't touch her, Miguel.
Don't move, Dirty. I'm going to use this thing good. Now get the gold and get out of here and collect the money for it. And don't come back without the cash. Because if anything goes wrong, you know what's going to happen.
Do just as he says, sweetheart. I'll come back as fast as I can. I hope you have the cash ready, Mrs. Clayton.
Yes, we have the cash ready. But you want us to see what we bought first, don't you?
Why, certainly.
You seem to be in a hurry, Mr. Daly.
Well, as a matter of fact, I do have somebody waiting for me. I have to keep track of the time, but I think we can make it. Mrs. Clayton, why don't you get the money in the meantime?
All right.
And you might get the scales also, as it'll take quite some...
All right, frisk him, Dunlap.
Well, what's the idea?
United States Secret Service. You're under arrest, Tierney.
Oh, well, wait a minute.
I wouldn't try anything, Tierney. Any quick moves now could be very dangerous.
But it's my kid. He's got my kid. You've got to do something. If I don't get back there, he'll kill her.
Who's going to kill her?
Miguel. He's back at my apartment, waiting for the money with her. Please, I don't care what you do to me, but don't let anything happen to her.
Sit down, sit down. I'm sick and tired of you walking around.
Where's my daddy? Why doesn't he come back?
That's what I like to know. He should have been here a long time ago.
Maybe he's been hurt. Maybe we ought to go out and find him.
You stay right here. And if you don't come back in 10 minutes, I'm going to take you with me.
No.
You shut up.
Let me go.
I say shut up. Yeah, who is it?
Me, Turner.
Is anything wrong?
No, I just forgot my key.
You got the money?
Yeah. Everybody paid off.
Good, then pay me and we call it quits.
You all right, sir?
Come on, pay me. Give me the money.
You're under arrest. United States Secret Service.
Hey, what is this? What's going on?
We'll tell you all about it. Come on, let's go. You too, Tony.
Yes, sir, I'm ready. As long as she's all right, I'm ready.
Where are you going, Daddy? Where are they going to take you?
Sweetheart, you've got to be a big girl. Just pretend that I have my way on business again on another one of those trips. I promise you, sweetheart, when I come back, I'll never take another trip without you. I promise.
This story you have just seen took place 5 years ago. And Ronald Turney, who was a model prisoner while serving his time in the federal penitentiary, is now out on parole and living with his daughter, Rita. He has a job as a salesman. Miguel Cuenca was not only charged with violation of the Gold Reserve Act, but with violation of our smuggling laws as well. Convicted on all counts, he is still serving time.